You think stronger emotional connection comes from saying more, praising more, reassuring more. But the truth is, the more you throw compliments around without weight, the less your words mean and the less deeply anyone feels you. You think connection is built by making people feel good. No. Connection is built by making people feel seen. And those are not the same thing. Most people never learn that. They learn politeness. They learn charm. They learn how to say what sounds warm, what sounds smooth, what sounds safe. You look amazing. You're incredible. You're so special. You're the best. Fine. Harmless on the surface, but cheap in effect. Because when your compliments sound like they could be said to anyone, they land on no one. They pass through. They do not touch the nervous system. They do not reach the deeper place where trust is built. If you need regular reminders like this, subscribe now because you do not need more comfort. You need more truth. You need words that pull you out of performance and force you back into reality. Here's what it really means. Compliments create stronger emotional connection only when they come from clean observation, emotional steadiness, and self-respect. Not from hunger, not from anxiety, not from the need to be liked, not from the fear of silence. A real compliment is not verbal decoration. It is accurate recognition. It is you naming something real in another person with enough precision that they feel understood, not managed. That is the thesis. Now understand the problem. The misconception is simple. You have been taught that the point of a compliment is to make someone feel good. That is why most compliments are lazy. That is why most compliments are generic. That is why most compliments are delivered too early, too often, and with too much emotional leakage attached to them. People think if the other person smiles, the compliment worked. Wrong. A smile is not proof of connection. A smile can be politeness. A smile can be habit. A smile can be social reflex. The compliment that creates real connection does more than get a reaction. It creates recognition. It makes the other person stop internally and think he actually noticed that. That is different. The hard truth is that most compliments are not given from strength. They are given from insecurity. Read that again in your mind and do not run from it. Most people are not complimenting because they are grounded enough to appreciate what is real. They are complimenting because they want access. They want approval. They want momentum. They want to lower tension. They want to secure their place. They want a return. They want to feel chosen. That is called a hidden transaction. That is called approval seeking. That is called trying to purchase closeness with language. And people feel it. Maybe not consciously at first. Maybe they cannot explain it in clean words. But they feel the pressure under the compliment. They feel the agenda. They feel the slight need for something back. More attention. More warmth. More validation. More openness. More certainty. So even if your words sound kind, they do not feel clean. And when words do not feel clean, they do not build trust. They build caution. Why does this happen? Because you were trained to focus on effect instead of truth. You were trained to think, what can I say that will land well, instead of asking what is actually true here? You were trained to fear silence. You were trained to believe that if you are not actively creating energy, interest will die. You were trained to think your value lives in output, in performance, in verbal fluency, in being good with words. But emotional connection is not built by constant output. It is built by calibrated presence. It is built by attention that does not rush. It is built by language that emerges from observation instead of panic. That is the root cause. Weak attention, weak internal stillness, weak tolerance for uncertainty. You see beauty and blurt. You feel tension and fill it. You want connection and overproduce. You stop observing. You stop discerning. You stop listening for character. You start reacting to surface. You start trying to impress. That is why your compliments lose force. They are not coming from settled perception. They are coming from emotional urgency, and urgency leaks. This is why some people can say one sentence and be remembered for years, while others can say 100 flattering things and be forgotten by next week. One person is speaking from center. The other is speaking from appetite. One is naming reality. The other is trying to shape reality in real time with words. One has gravity. The other has noise. And the cost of getting this wrong is massive. You dilute your own presence. You teach people that your attention is cheap. You make your approval feel easy to get, which means it carries no value. You create suspicion where you wanted closeness. You create emotional static where you wanted depth. You say too much. You reveal too early. You praise too fast. Then you wonder why the connection feels unstable. You wonder why people enjoy your energy but do not fully respect it. You wonder why conversations feel warm in the moment and empty afterward. Because warmth without weight fades fast. You stop being memorable. You become pleasant. That sounds nice until you understand what it means. Pleasant is often disposable. Pleasant is often interchangeable. Pleasant gets thanked, smiled at, and moved past. But truth? Truth leaves a mark. Truth gets stored. Truth returns to people later when they are alone. Truth creates emotional residue. That is what you want, not instant reaction. Lasting impact. So reframe it. A compliment is not supposed to inflate someone. It is supposed to reveal that you actually see them. A strong compliment does not say, I hope this makes you like me. A strong compliment says, I notice what is real. And because it is real, it carries weight. Because it carries weight, it creates trust. Because it creates trust, it creates connection. That is the reframe. Now go deeper. Ask yourself what most people compliment. Looks, talent, energy, style. Obvious things, surface things, socially rewarded things, easy things. But what do people ache to have recognized? Their restraint, their discipline, their emotional control, their loyalty, their courage under pressure, their standards, their ability to stay calm when life gives them every reason to become chaotic, their ability to be kind without becoming weak, their ability to endure without performing their pain for sympathy. That is where deeper connection lives, not in the obvious. In the overlooked, anybody can say you're beautiful. Anybody can say you're smart. Anybody can say you're amazing. That takes no eyes, no patience, no depth. But when you say you have a calm way of handling pressure that makes other people settle down around you, now you are speaking to nervous system reality. When you say you do not need to talk constantly to prove yourself, and that tells me you know who you are, now you are speaking to identity. When you say you keep your word even when it costs you, and that is rarer than talent, now you are speaking to character. That lands because now your compliment is not flattery. It is evidence. That is called discernment. And discernment is attractive because it signals self-respect. A man who sees clearly is a man who is not desperate. A man who is not desperate does not spray admiration like a hose and call it sincerity. He selects. He measures. He means it. His words have edges. They have shape. They come from somewhere. Picture that man clearly. He is not cold. He is not mute. He is not emotionally constipated. He is not withholding for effect. He appreciates deeply. But he does not gush. He does not spill. He does not use praise to audition for acceptance. He does not compliment to force chemistry. He does not flatter because silence makes him nervous. He can sit in a moment without scrambling to decorate it. He can observe without immediately converting observation into performance. He notices how people move, how they speak, what they protect, what they tolerate, what they refuse, what they repeat. He studies patterns. He listens for values. He watches how someone handles inconvenience, disappointment, pressure, temptation, boredom, because that is where character shows up. And when he speaks, his words land because they come after attention. He tells a woman, you have a groundedness that makes pretense fall apart around you. He tells a friend, you do not ask for credit every time you do the right thing, and that says a lot about your character. He tells a brother, you have been carrying weight quietly, but you have not let that weight turn you bitter. He tells a person, you have standards without needing to advertise them, and that is rare. He does not say these things to get a reaction. He says them because they are true. Then he lets the truth sit there. No chasing, no explaining, no fishing for praise in return. That is called congruence. That is called grounded masculine energy. That is called self-command. And people feel safe around that man. Not because he is soft all the time. Not because he is endlessly validating. Not because he is trying to make everyone comfortable, but because his words are honest, measured, and free from hidden pressure. There is no manipulation in them. There is no neediness in them. There is no emotional begging in them. So when he compliments, it feels clean. And what feels clean feels trustworthy. That is the man you need to become. Not the man who compliments every attractive face because he has no language for depth. Not the man who praises too early because he is afraid of losing momentum. Not the man who keeps talking because he thinks silence means failure. Not the man who mistakes intensity for intimacy. Not the man who thinks more words equal more connection. More words often mean less discipline. Less discipline means less weight. Less weight means less impact. Real depth is quieter than that. Real depth is slower. Real depth notices before it speaks. Now let's make this brutally practical. Do this. Stop complimenting people on autopilot. Stop saying the first nice thing that comes to mind. Stop reacting to the obvious. Stop using praise as social filler. Stop using admiration as a bridge when what you actually lack is presence. Stop handing out emotional currency just because the moment feels tense. Stop trying to be liked so quickly. Then redirect. Look longer. Listen harder. Wait one beat more than feels comfortable. Ask yourself, what am I actually seeing? What quality is here that most people miss because they are too distracted by appearance, charm, or noise? What has this person revealed through action, not branding? What is true here beneath the surface? Then say that, and only that. Be specific. Always specific. Vague compliments die fast. Specific compliments live. Do not say you're amazing. Say, you stayed calm when everyone else started reaching for drama, and that tells me your center is real. Do not say you're different. Say you do not reach for attention, and somehow that makes people take you more seriously. Do not say you're strong. Say you carry disappointment without making it everyone else's burden, and that takes real strength. You hear the difference? One is filler, one is recognition. One chases response. One creates resonance. One is social sugar. One is emotional truth. Use restraint. This matters. If every other sentence is praise, your praise means nothing. Frequency kills force. Scarcity sharpens it. Not fake scarcity. Not manipulative distance. Real restraint. The restraint of someone who does not need to say everything he notices the second he notices it. The restraint of someone whose internal state is not run by impulse. The restraint of a man who understands that silence is not absence. Silence is part of the delivery. And remove the hidden transaction. This is where most people fail. They say something kind, then immediately start looking for evidence that it worked. Did she smile? Did he lean in? Did they get warmer? Did they return something? Did the energy change? That internal monitoring contaminates the whole thing. Because now your compliment is not an offering of truth. It is a bid. It is a test. It is a hook. And if there is a hook in it, people feel the pull. Say it cleanly. Release it completely. No hovering. No need for payoff. No emotional invoice. That is strength. Also, make sure your life can support your words. If your discipline is weak, your standards are inconsistent, your emotions run you, your boundaries collapse under pressure, then even a good compliment can sound like borrowed wisdom. People may not know why, but they will feel the mismatch. That is why self-respect matters so much here. Self-respect gives your language authority. Without self-respect, your words float. With self-respect, they strike. Because the deepest compliments do not come from verbal skill. They come from internal order. A disordered man can memorize lines. He cannot create gravity. A grounded man barely needs lines at all. This is bigger than attraction. Bigger than dating. Bigger than romance. This applies to every human bond in your life. Friends, family, leadership, brotherhood, team culture, mentorship, parenting, everywhere. People do not open up deeply to those who say the nicest things. They open up to those who see clearly and speak truth without making truth feel dangerous. That is emotional maturity. That is leadership. That is masculine steadiness. And if you are hearing this and realizing you have been over-complimenting, over-explaining, over-offering warmth in order to secure closeness, good. That means you are finally seeing it. Do not waste time feeling ashamed. Shame freezes. Clarity moves. You were not wrong for wanting connection. You were wrong in how you chased it. You were not weak for caring. You were weak when you cared without standards. You were weak when your desire outran your discipline. You were weak when your words became substitutes for your center. Fix that. Reclaim your attention. Reclaim your pace. Reclaim your standards. Become harder to rush. Harder to bait. Harder to manipulate through your need to be well received. Let your compliments become rarer, cleaner, heavier. Let them come from a man who can tolerate silence, uncertainty, and delayed validation. Let them come from a man who is not trying to win the moment but tell the truth inside it. Then watch what changes. Your conversations become less noisy. Your words stop sounding rehearsed. People stop feeling managed around you. They stop sensing that subtle pressure underneath your kindness. They breathe more. They trust more. They remember more. Not because you became more impressive, but because you became more real. And reality always outlasts performance. Remember this line. The right compliment does not make you look good. It makes the other person feel accurately known. That is why it creates emotional connection. Because to be accurately known is rare. To be accurately known by someone who is centered is even rarer. That combination is powerful. So speak less. Notice more. Slow down. Get precise. Compliment character over cosmetics, choices over charm, patterns over presentation. Name what is earned. Name what is real. Name what reveals identity. And once you say it, stand there. Do not chase. Do not dilute it. Do not explain it into weakness. You are not here to charm your way into depth. You are not here to perform warmth until people hand you access. You are not here to bargain for closeness with polished sentences. You are here to become a man whose words have weight because his character has weight. That is the shift. That is the reset. That is the standard. And once you understand it, you stop trying to be impressive. You start trying to be accurate. You stop trying to create instant feelings. You start creating trust. You stop talking to avoid silence. You start using silence to strengthen truth. Presence versus performance. Reality versus fantasy. Weight versus noise. Recognition versus flattery. Self-respect versus approval hunger. Choose your side, because that choice shapes everything. You are the answer, not your lines, not your tactics, not your charm, not your word count. You, your standards, your discipline, your calm, your ability to see clearly and speak cleanly. That is what creates the kind of connection people do not forget. If you want more truth like this, subscribe, because you do not need soft lies that keep you comfortable. You need clarity that cuts through your excuses and puts you back in command. And if you are done performing, done chasing, done trying to buy connection with language, then you are exactly where you belong.